Hey guys, how's it going? First off, I want to apologize for the quality of the video yesterday. It was a rush job. Believe it or not, it does take time for me to do these videos, even though they're so short. I just don't have a lot of time, and I'm only doing these videos as a hobby. Doing these videos actually help me with my sports betting, and it helps you guys, and that's great. And I am aware that I have issues with my mic, and sometimes the editing is not that great. My time's limited, but anyway, let's take a look at this morning's games. Our play of the day, the Tigers came through. Tigers won 8-5. Tigers did damage in the first inning and another one in the third. Then they gave up the lead in the fifth to the Giants. It was 5-2. Unfortunately for the Giants and unfortunately for us, that was all they did. After the fifth inning, the Tigers put up 2 more runs and then another 4 runs in the ninth inning to win it. The way the game played out is indicative of the Tigers. Sometimes the Tigers are very inconsistent, especially on the road. I like them at home though, but they're not always a guarantee. If they had not put up 4 runs in the ninth inning, we would have lost today. And what that tells me is that the Giants pitching, as far as the bullpen and the relievers, didn't do their job. So lucky for us. All right, Landers, Eagles. I was leaning towards the Eagles, but it looks like the Landers won 7-1. Let's take a look at the box score. Well, the game was tied after the third inning, and then it wasn't until the sixth inning that the Landers put up 6 runs. It looks like the starter left in the fifth inning, and then in the sixth, relievers just totally collapsed and let the game get out of hand and lost. Sometimes it comes down to the bullpen, and the Eagles have been in a lot of high-scoring games. Sometimes they can put up a lot of runs, and sometimes they don't. And when they don't, their bullpen can get the job done, and this is what happens. So they're not as inconsistent as the Tigers, but it's never a guarantee with the Eagles. All right, let's take a look at the next game. Twins and Dinos. The Dinos did damage first. 2 runs by the third inning. Looks like the Twins came back in the eighth, scored 3 runs to take the lead, but the Dinos came back in the ninth, and looks like went to the 10th, and that is where the Twins won it. I think 2 teams are pretty much equal, probably more of the same tomorrow. So this is probably a game I'm going to avoid because I think it's going to be very competitive, and then it'll be decided late innings. So I don't want any part of that. Bears at Wiz, I was leaning Bears, and they did upset the Wiz. According to the stats and the pitching, the starting pitcher, it was Bears all the way. But like I said yesterday, it's hard to go up against KT Wiz. They're like number 1 in my power ranking for hitting and pitching, so we stayed away. Yeah, KT Wiz, they're the number 1 team in the league, but any given day, sometimes they just don't show up. They're the number 1 in my power ranking for hitting, but they only put up 1 run today. That just goes to show you how good the starting pitcher is for the Bears today. He had a phenomenal stats. That's why I was leaning the Bears so heavily. And then their closers did the job or did enough to shut out the Wiz. So more of the same tomorrow or a bounce back spot for the Wiz? I don't know. It's hard to tell. I think until the Wiz shows they can bounce back, I think I'm still leaning towards the Bears for tomorrow. But it's a weak lean, just like yesterday. And I think the Lions, in addition to the Tigers, were our elite locks for this morning. The Lions were the top-ranked elite lock, and looks like they didn't get the job done. Game ended in 3-3. I did catch a little bit of the game while I was at work. And that's why I don't like the KBO sometimes, because they stop at a tie. I don't understand why they do that. And they should just keep on playing like MLB until somebody wins, but it is what it is. I don't think that we will touch this game today. 9 times out of 10, I think the Lions win in the spot, and that's why we took them. But I think the Heroes at home, as bad as they are, they have fighting them, so they may not win like today, but they'll make the game close. Enough of the recap, so let's take a look at today's lines and see what we like. Lions at Heroes, even though it was a tie, Hard Rock has the Lions as big favorites Money line's minus 225. So that tells you that Hard Rock thinks the Heroes won't do a repeat performance. The Lions have let me down too many times. If they were at home, I'd probably take a chance on the run line, but I think that might just be a pass. The lines are at minus 120. It's like, it's almost a trap. Want us to take the Bears. I smell something fishy with this, but until the Wiz show us that they can win consistently, I'm going to have to lean towards the Bears. Eagles, I can't bet on the Eagles, even though they're strong favorites at minus 190. I take a look at their recent record. And look at that, 2 losses in a row. And their last win was 15-11 against the Twins. They put up a lot of points, but they also gave up 11 runs. When a team gives up runs, they don't win. And then before that, they lost 6-10 to the Tigers and 3-6. Last 5 games, they won once, so I don't think we can even touch the Eagles. But the value in the Landers, but I don't know if they would win straight up. But if the Eagles go off tomorrow against the Landers, we'll have to look at the matchup because there might be value in either the money line or the run line. Tigers and Giants, I looked at Hard Rock, and I also looked at the lines at DraftKings and FanDuel. And pretty much they have this as a coin flip. So realistically, the way the lines are, like, there is a favorite in this game. They have a chance to win. And if that's the case, I'll go with the Tigers and home field advantage. But we'll take a look at the picture and make a final decision later. Dinos and Twins. Twins, they are like Jekyll and Hyde sometimes. Fun today, but that doesn't mean they'll win tomorrow. I think it's going to be more of the same tomorrow. So I take the Dinos money line here if I was going to take this game. All right, let's take a look at the pitching matchups, see if we can narrow down our play of the day. We will start with, let's just take the Eagles and Landers for the hell of it. All right, both pitchers seem pretty decent. The Eagles pitcher has a 4.02 ERA and a 8-4 record. Last game, he didn't do terrible against the Tigers, but gave up 4 earned runs. And then he is awful against the Bears. 7 earned runs. One of them was a home run. And he only had 3 strikeouts. And then another average performance against the Wiz. The longest he lasted was 6 innings. So before that, he lasted 3 1/3 and then 5 1/3. If he does okay, he'll probably give up 4 runs and we'll have to rely on the bullpen. And who knows how that's going to go. So I'm not thrilled on Bills, but let's see the Landers. Last time against them, he was average, but before that, he was solid against the Twins. So I would have to lean towards the Landers here. Pretty decent price for them. Value spot to take a money line at 145. It might be worth a shot. If you're going to play this game, I would just go for it and play the money line at plus 145 on the Landers. But let's keep on going. Evan Rodriguez for the Giants. Solid performance, so he's not bad. He's good for 6 innings. Last 3 games have been 6, 6, and 6. So he's a pretty decent starter. He should keep the game close until at least to the 6th inning. But let's take a look at the other guy. He was okay against the Eagles. He gave up 6 earned runs. He didn't do bad against the Heroes, but giving up 3 isn't too bad. Bears at Wiz. I still like the Bears, but maybe I'm overthinking it and thinking that this is a trap game. Definitely going to pass on the Eagles. If I take the plus 145, that might be worth it. I think the books are telling us how to play this. Close game, late innings. It could go either way. And I think the Giants are probably going to win it. Might be like 1 run or 2, even winning in extra. Probably like a low scoring game. I'm going to listen to the book and just pass on it. And the Twins, too inconsistent. If anything, I think at minus 105 money line for the Dinos is pretty decent deal. But I don't like them enough to take that. So either we're going to go big or go home with the Landers, or we take a potential trap line with the Bears. We could go with Wiz. Our play of the day is going to be the KT Wiz money line. They're at home, even though they lost today. Let's take a look at the KBO models recommendation. First game, Dinos, Twins, and that is a pass for the model, so that's a no bet. Eagles at Landers. That is an elite lock. Eagles run line at -1.5. So Lamando disagrees with me. Giants versus Tigers. That's a standard lock. So basically, a standard lock is one tier down from the elite. So it's just like a regular lock. He run line at -1.5. Bears at KT Wiz, and that is an elite lock for the Bears run line at -1.5. So the model disagrees with me. 2 elite locks so far and standard lock. All right, next game and final game is Lions at the Heroes, and that is a weak lean on the Lions run line at -1.5. That's about what I thought for that game. Since there were 2 elite locks, the rank elite lock for today is the Eagles run line at -1.5. All right, guys, that's about it. I will see you next time.